Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by JSMK, and their tagline is, "A groan that sounded like a T-Rex with a hot poker in its ass." Posted by Blue Biscuit 1, in r/legal advice, December 3rd, 2017. The tale of a man who can't understand. First post. Contractor violated work contract and claims that the contract isn't enforceable because it's against public policy. Pennsylvania. December 3rd, 2017. A contractor who I had tasked with writing a college essay recently violated a contract that I had, where he had to pay $10,000 in case I was caught because of his negligence. I've been suspended because the idiot just copied and edited a few random essays from the internet rather than give me a high-quality original content that was stipulated in his contract. I wish to be spared the moral lectures of how cheating and all are wrong, as I've managed to justify what it's doing to myself and don't want your unleaded opinions. I want legal advice. The contractor is claiming that enforcing the contract violates public policy, meaning that if I go to court, it won't hold up. This seems ridiculous on the surface of it, as it's nothing more than a contract to create written works no different from any other. Do I have a chance of claiming the contractual damages? Relevant comments. User Reggie J. I wish to be spared the moral lectures about cheating and all are wrong, as I've managed to justify what it's doing to myself and don't want your unleaded opinions. Or what? He'll charge us $10K if we give him? User The Real Dark Cirque comments, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. OP responds, what stupid games? Spacebar question mark. Editor's note, it was actually typed like that. Deleted user comments, he means having somebody else write your essay. It's exactly the same as just taking somebody else's work off the internet and turning it in as your own. OP responds, that isn't a criminal matter, but rather an ethical manner, which colleges and lawyers have very little ground to speak about. I apologize for using a different account as I've forgotten the throwaway password from my original, and I've had to make a new one. Update post, December 14th, 2017. Lawyer charged me $200 for 2 minutes worth of work. Consequences if reported to the bar? Editors/compilers note, this post was removed by the legal advice mods and I couldn't find an archive, so I'll have to summarize since it's important to the story. OP, after being told he has no case in r/legal advice, went to an actual lawyer who advertised 1-hour consultations for $200. The lawyer told OP he had no case within 2 minutes and billed him the $200. Thinking this is unfair because it said 1-hour consultation and the consultation was less than an hour, OP wanted to report the lawyer to the Pennsylvania State Bar Association, governing body for lawyers in Pennsylvania, and asked r/legal advice what consequences the lawyer would face. Relevant comments. User YPumpapa. Did the attorney say it was a free consultation? OP responds, the $200 was for a 1-hour consultation, not a 2-minute one. User J. Beckin comments, I'm reminded of the old story of a couple who took their car to a mechanic because it wasn't running right. The mechanic opened the hood, switched 2 wires, and the car was fixed. He charged the couple $50. They complained that all he did was switch 2 wires. The mechanic replies that it cost $1 to switch the wires and $49 to know which ones. You paid the lawyer for his experience and expertise, not how long it took him to answer your question. Update, December 29th, 2017. Law firm sent cease and desist letter to get me to stop criticizing them. Ever since a law firm scammed me out of $200, I've been on a relentless campaign to criticize them, sharing critical posts I wrote on them on all major social media platforms. I've even put up posters near their office warning people to be wary of their ridiculous billing policies. They seem to have sent me a cease and desist letter yesterday in an attempt to suppress my criticism, asking me to stop my campaign of harassment or risk a lawsuit for libel and harassment. I'm pretty sure this is ridiculous. There is some legal mechanism to help me here called anti-slap, which I want information on how to use. Apparently, it pays my legal bills or something if I can prove their lawsuit is frivolous. Could somebody explain to me how it works? A cease and desist isn't a lawsuit. It's a warning of an impending lawsuit if you continue your actions. Just thought I would add that information there because OP definitely doesn't know that. There is a nice sense of irony that OP was looking to abuse a contract to get someone to pay $10,000 because they were looking to have someone cheat on behalf of them in university. And when that didn't go their direction and they found out they didn't have a case, quickly became the moment of, no, it's only okay when I abuse the legal system to get $10,000, not when you use it against me. That's not fair. The thing is, there are lawyers out there that will give a quick free consultation. And the fact that you chose one that charged $200 for an hour, you probably should have read the fine print because my guess would be, considering that they're lawyers, they spelled out exactly what the meeting could and could not entail as well as how far your $200 would actually go. And I don't think OP thoroughly read that. OP comes across as the kind of person that will refuse to take no for an answer, even if it's spelled out to them why they can't do something, and they'll shop around and try to get the exact answer they're looking for, rather than the hard truth. This post was collected by Lucy Aria Rose, and their tagline is, "I'm keeping the garlic." The original poster is Natural Internet 2853, posted both on r/AmIEverReacting and r/AmITheAsshole on July 6th, 2025. Am I ever reacting for refusing to let my fiance's aunt see our newborn baby until she apologizes for unsolicited jokes? My fiance, 26 male, and I, 24 female, just recently had our first child. This has been a pretty big deal for us since I had a major pregnancy loss with our daughter in 2024. A couple days ago, my fiance's aunt flew in out of town to congratulate us and meet our son. When she got to our house, she kept making unsolicited jokes about this baby and my loss last year. My fiance had told her multiple times to stop and got serious about it. She, however, still refused to apologize to either of us and continued making jokes. I eventually told his aunt that I'm not going to allow her to see the baby anymore until she apologizes and proves to both of us that she can be a mature adult. I made it very clear to her that I don't need empathy. I don't need her to support either of us through this, nor do I even need her to give us any grievances. All I need from her is to be excited for us in the present moment, not to compare it to the past. Edit. She got very angry when I told her this and yelled at us for being unfair and claimed we're taking her away from her own family. Am I overreacting? As a note, my fiance is in agreement with me and is backing me up on this 100%. He agrees that her words, actions, and level of immaturity are unacceptable. Some of OP's comments. Commenter. Absolutely not the asshole. Lock your doors. P.S. Massive congratulations. Enjoy those newborn cuddles. The days are long, but the years are short. OP responds, thank you for the congrats. I'm cherishing these newborn cuddles for sure. He'll only be this small once. Commenter. Honestly, I would have told her to leave and put her out on the street to find her own way around and own accommodations. You have a hell of a lot of patience. I would have given her a swift kick in the rear after she was warned the first time. OP responds, if my baby wasn't right there in my arms, we would have yelled back at her. Our son was getting fed, so there was only so much we could do to remove him from her yelling, so I had to remove myself from the room as a whole. If it wasn't for our newborn being right there, our patience levels would not have been as stable. Top comments. Fun Professional 570. She fucked around, she found out. Your baby, your rules. And she's an asshole for making jokes with the loss of a child and an even bigger asshole for continuing when you've both asked her to stop. Stick to your rules. Sweet Permission 700 responds, I've lost a child. She was 6. People who said shitty things then are still not in my life, over 8 years later. Update on the same post, July 7th, 2025, the next day. Update. I'm not sure if anyone wanted an update, but here it is. Please keep in mind that although I posted just last night, this situation happened multiple days ago. My fiance's aunt is currently staying with his parents. Earlier today, my fiance went over to talk to her about it. I stayed home by choice, for what I feel are pretty obvious reasons. He went over and explained to her that we're cutting all contact with her. She's not invited to our wedding, she will never see our son again, etc. He told her that she crossed the line, and that because of her actions, if we did receive an apology, we would have a hard time believing her apology was sincere. Obviously, much more was said. I'm just giving a more general overview. The part that threw me off even more was the fact that she never even told his parents what happened. His parents were shocked and flipped out at her. They told her that her options were to go stay at a hotel and experience this area by herself, or to get a ticket to fly back home. None of my fiancé's immediate family, his parents and 2 younger sisters, have turned on or blamed me. I'm so lucky and thankful to have my fiancé, as well as most of his family in my life. Thank you for reading, as well as the input I got in the comments. 100% that aunt can go fuck herself, just without a doubt. That is revolting and disgusting. Ha ha ha, it's so funny you lost your child last year. At least you have a new one. Hee hee ho ho. Oh, don't be too serious, they're just jokes. I'm a little bit of a jokester, don't you know? Here's a joke. All future relationships you intend on having. Honestly though, it's just a breath of fresh air that we see a family that actually has morals in place and is willing to actually go to bat for what is just egregiously unacceptable conduct. Like, because of the nature of this channel and the stories we cover, we oftentimes find the worst of the worst, where normally it should be like obvious that a family would stand up for a grieving set of parents that's starting a new chapter in their life with their new child. But no, because the nature of this, that unfortunately is rare to find. If you're looking for bears in the city, you're probably not going to find one. Probably. But if you go looking for bears in the woods, where they're oftentimes found, you're probably gonna find a bear. It's just the nature of how I curate this channel. This post was collected by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." The original OP is Background Reason 919, posted to r/Am I the Asshole, April 11th, 2025. Am I the asshole for telling my new work colleague that she has no right to control her office habit? There is a content warning section that includes the following: hostile workplace, bullying, religious discrimination, controlling behavior, accusations of sexual harassment, developmental disabilities, body shaming, and ableism. So if you're not in the headspace to hear a story that includes all of those, you have been warned. I, 35 male, have been working in this office for 3 years. We recently hired a new girl, 25 female, and she sits diagonally in front of me, so I can see her at my desk and vice versa. We're around 1 meter apart. She has been working for 3 weeks and has been trying to control her office habit based on her liking. Here are the issues that has been happening and what triggered me to do what I did. 1. I have an unhealthy eating habit and snacking a lot during work. She mentioned twice, jokingly, said how I tempted her for eating cakes, and how can I stay skinny even though I eat like pigs? I offered her some. She refused, saying she's trying to lose weight. Fine, I stopped snacking on my desk, but my other colleagues and I still have lunch at desk when we're quite busy. Then, by the end of the first week, she reported to HR and say people should not have lunch or eat at their desk because it can be unhygienic, and the crumbs might fall into the keyboard and attract bugs. She also mentioned how she was annoyed by me eating ice cream, cakes, bread, etc. during work hours, and it disturbed her because she's trying hard to lose weight. So, HR sent us all emails, and now everyone in the office, everyone, can no longer eat anything on our desk. 2. On her second day, she complained that the girl sits next to her, Jane, was using a very strong perfume and the scent nauseated her. Jane did wear strong perfume indeed, but it wasn't that horrible. All of us could tolerate Jane, and suddenly, because this new girl couldn't tolerate her, and Jane was the one that has to change. Okay, to be fair on that one, I do understand that one a bit. Perfume allergies can be hell. 3. Between our team, 6 of us collect $10 weekly to buy lottery. One of the guys in our team is Muslim, and he doesn't gamble, so he never participated, but yet he never discouraged or criticized us. We offered this girl to join us, and she criticized us about how gambling is bad, and say it's very unprofessional to be collecting money to gamble in an office environment. She actually brought this to HR, arguing the harm and risk, and if we happened to win millions of dollars and did a mass exodus, it would be harmful for the company. Luckily, HR didn't do anything about it. 4. The Muslim guy prays twice a day in our stationery room. Unfortunately, we don't have praying room in the office. He's got his praying mat and some other stuff in our stationery room, and it has been there since I started working. She suggested to him to move it somewhere, as he shouldn't put personal belongings in a common area. She told the other girl in our team that the old mat was not pleasant to look at. And alright, what happened today? Our desk layout is shaped like an L, and my desk is next to a glass window. In our team, there are 7 people, excluding her, and all of us are sun haters. We always pull down the shade, and especially the guys sitting on the other corner. They said if the window is opened, the sun would glare on their computer screens in the afternoon and making it so they can't see their screen very well. This girl has been complaining how our corner is too dark and gives bad vibes, and she needs to have the shades opened up. She mentioned how the sun will make people happier and increase productivity. I couldn't stand her anymore, so I stood up from my desk and I didn't yell, "Look, insert name, you've been here for less than a month, but you keep telling us what to do. We've been changing our habits to accommodate you, but then you keep pushing things. You can't keep telling us what to do. I think the best thing for you is to move to sit where the HR people sits because it's always bright there, and you're closer with them than us anyway." She then said I hate women and I'm bullying her, and she's telling our manager in HR about this. Am I the asshole here? Did I bully her? Is it acceptable for the new hire to tell older colleagues to do these things? Am I the asshole with an H has no consensus bot, but OP received the majority of not the assholes and a few others. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. I would weaponize her criticism of the prayer mat as discrimination and get HR to lubricate the catapult. OP responds, I did mention this to the Muslim guy, but he's just chill, and he doesn't care. Downvoted commenter. Completely agree with the new girl except for number 4. Eat away from your desk, gamble in your own time, avoid strong perfumes. These are standard office rules in most places. Number 4 is ethically dodgy. A workplace should make reasonable adjustments to accommodate faith practice. OP responds, okay, fair point. We collect the money during our break on Wednesday and buy them at a convenience store downstairs. The lottery draws happen every Thursday night, so it doesn't interfere with our work at all. The Muslim guy never complains or asks for a prayer room. He's the only person who prays in the whole office. So, I guess nobody ever raised the issue. Commenter 2. Not the asshole. I would never normally suggest this, but since she went there first, go to HR and report that she called you a pig. That's the only thing here that could get her in trouble, because technically, that was bullying. Otherwise, good luck. She sounds horrible. OP responds, nah, I can't do that. Jane actually started that first. She always says I eat like a pig. Jane and I are actually good friends. I don't want her to get an opportunity to drag Jane down, but thanks though. Commenter 3. Just imagining being trapped in a room for 8 hours every day and expected to concentrate and work while having to listen to people eat right next to me fills me with so much rage and dread. I don't give a fuck if you're busy. Go eat in the kitchen and then come back. A short break won't kill you, for fuck's sakes. OP responds, well, all of us eat in our desk. We've been doing it for years. She actually never complained about noise. She complained that I eat when she cannot eat because she's trying to lose weight. And she doesn't like people to eat in their desk because she thinks it's unhygienic. Anyway, HR has spoken. Editor's note, OP made an update a few days onto the original post. Update 1, April 11th, 2025, same day, a few hours later on the same post. Small, not so irrelevant update. I was just talking about this with my colleague who works downstairs in storage room. I don't often go there, but this new girl has to go there every day as part of her job. And he told me a story. In my company, we hire a guy with Down syndrome to do some restocking. Let's call him Bob. Apparently, a couple of days ago, an older lady who works in the kitchen was wearing a Pikachu apron. When Bob saw the kitchen lady, he yelled, "Pikachu!" Then ran and touched the apron, so he would have accidentally touched her breast too. According to my colleague, the older lady just laughed and didn't make much of a fuss. The new girl witnessed this and said Bob has sexually harassed the old lady and she would report him to HR. LOL. She complained that Bob's behavior is very inappropriate and unsafe. Update 2, April 12th, 2025. Next day, same post. Wow, I didn't expect this to blow up. I'm still getting so many messages and comments. By the way, I used AI this time to correct my grammatical mistakes. I appreciate the disclosure, and I understand. I'm not a native English speaker, and now I understand that it's not appropriate to use the word girl when referring to a 25-year-old woman. I didn't realize this before. Thanks for the heads up, Reddit. I showed this post to 2 of my colleagues and they encouraged me, and I also felt it was necessary, to clarify a few things to be fair and to respond to some of your questions and comments. She actually complained about a lot of other things that I didn't mention earlier, mostly because I didn't think they were very interesting. And honestly, a few of them even benefited us. 1. Okay, so apparently wearing perfume at the workplace is not allowed. Got it. I guess Jane's just been lucky that no one's ever complained before. 2. Her comment about the Muslim guy's prayer mat was more about the way it was positioned in the storage room. Everything else is neatly arranged in wooden cupboards, but in one corner, there's a small table with the prayer mat and some religious items. She felt it looked out of place and thought personal items shouldn't be in public/shared areas. That said, the prayer mat has been there since I started, and no one in the office has raised an issue about it for the past 3 years. 3. About the skinny or eats like a pig comments, I'm totally fine with it. It's just a part of our internal banter, and I'm the only person who gets body shamed, if you want to call it that way. And I do allow people to do so. We don't comment on other people's bodies or eating habits, and no one is being body shamed. 4. There was no HR policy that says we can't eat at our desks, and nobody was complaining about it until now. Everyone does it, even in other teams like IT. The new hire's issue doesn't seem to be about allergies or food smells. Her main complaint was she's trying to lose weight and doesn't like watching people eat. She never brought up concerns about computer damage or bugs until she took it to HR. 5. Yes, she's currently on a 6-month probation period. This is not her first job, but her second job. Apparently, worked on that company for 2 years. The first job was in a different city, and she praises that company a lot. 6. I didn't mention this earlier because it kind of worked out in my favor, but one of my colleagues asked me to include it. On her second day, she asked our manager to move a cabinet closer to her desk. That cabinet used to be on the other side of the room, and I had to walk over every time I needed to use it. So now, it's more convenient for me. But of course, the people who used to sit near it, including the colleagues who asked me to mention this, are pretty annoyed, since they used it just as much as she does. She's never mentioned about mobility issues or anything like that. She just wants the cabinet to be close to her. Funnily, our manager complies and gets the cabinet moved. 7. She complained about how the IT guy who sits behind her has got a really loud ringtone. I personally too find it a bit annoying, but he doesn't often receive phone calls and it wasn't too bothersome for us. 8. She complained how one of our colleagues was putting on headphones when working, and she dislikes it when she has to tap on his shoulder when she needs to talk to him. She literally told him, "Do you mind not putting on headphones while we work? Because I don't want to keep tapping your shoulder every time I need to talk to you, and it's disrespectful towards the others." Or something along that line. We usually just send a message on MS Teams when we want to talk to him, and he's on headphones. He suggested her the same, but she said she doesn't want to. As someone with sensory issues and autism, this would drive me fucking mad. 9. She complained about one Filipino woman, I almost typed girl again here, lol, who brought a smelly lunch to work. Yes, I kind of agree with this complaint. To be fair, the Filipino woman actually didn't do this very often, and she usually has lunch around 2 p.m. after people finished their lunch. A few of my colleagues and I also dislike it, but we thought nobody's perfect, and since she doesn't bring that food often, we just put up with it. 10. Also, my colleague told me he heard how she criticized a few of our Asian colleagues for eating rice with a spoon instead of with a fork. Why does this bother her? 11. She complained about our kitchen bin does not have a lid. It doesn't bother us, but we can see her point. 12. She complained how we should have a coffee machine. Okay, this one would be great. 13. She, allegedly, reported a female colleague for wearing stilettos to the office, calling it inappropriate work attire. She also apparently reported the kitchen lady for wearing a Pikachu apron, saying it was unprofessional, lol. 14. Bob has Down syndrome, or some sort of intellectual disability. I don't think he was malicious or intentionally being inappropriate. He probably doesn't have the capacity to think that it's not okay to touch other people. He didn't touch our new hire, though. She just witnessed him touching another woman and immediately flagged him as a potential sexual harasser. One of my colleagues genuinely thinks she might be having some mental health issues. Clearly, people commenting here are from different parts of the world and come from various cultural backgrounds. It's interesting to see how some things are totally normal in one place, but not okay in another. For instance, we've been eating at our desks for years, but apparently, according to some of you, that's a no-no in some workplaces. Well, sadly, it's not okay for us anymore either. Now, genuine question here, excluding the perfume thing. Would you complain this much within 3 weeks of your initial employment? I personally think we should just put up with some little things sometimes. Life is not perfect, let alone office. Thanks again for all of your input, and yeah, definitely going to HR on Monday. Final update 3, April 21st, 2025. Same post, 9 days later. Too long didn't read, she resigned before HR had a chance to fire her. Sorry, haven't been able to update the post earlier due to personal reasons. As per most of the suggestions here, I decided to report her to HR with my colleagues in our team. So, on Monday morning, a few of my colleagues and I had a discussion regarding this new hire's behavior, and we decided to talk to our line manager first before HR. However, our manager couldn't come to work that day, legit reason. The new hire also didn't come to work, she called in sick. We then changed our plan and decided to go to HR straight away. One of the IT guys joined us too, as our new hire had harassed him with a lot of unnecessary IT requests and demanded him make a lot of changes in our IT system. So we offered him to join us to report her to HR. He suggested that rather than complaining about how she's annoyed everyone with her complaints, we should pretend to be concerned about her struggle to adjust to our environment and get HR to talk to her, because we wanted her to have a good experience working with us. So a few of us then had a meeting with HR, and guess what? HR people were also annoyed by her. LOL. They didn't say it directly, but subtly mentioned that she had been logging a lot of unnecessary complaints. We also suggested that she might need to see a psychologist, as she might be having some sort of internal personal crisis, aka crazy. That led her to make all of these complaints. The IT guy asked if she showed any signs of these behaviors when HR interviewed her, and they said she asked a few detailed questions about the work culture here and also complained about some stuff, parking, etc., but they didn't really think much at the time, and she had glowing reviews from her references, probably because they wanted to get rid of her. The HR team said that they will discuss this matter and HR manager will have a one-on-one meeting with her the next time she shows up. However, that never happened, because she sent her resignation letter the following day, along with a very long list of complaints and things she wanted us to change. The most ridiculous thing is she actually sent the same email to the big boss, complaining our workplace to be unsafe, unhygienic, not inclusive, misogynist, backwards, and radiating bad vibes. The HR lady who told us this found it strange that she didn't use the word toxic. One thing the HR found amusing was she mentioned how our workplace should provide a lot of free stuff, such as bottled beverages, fruits, snacks, espresso coffee machine, dining vouchers, feminine hygiene products, patrol voucher, etc. In conclusion, good riddance. Yeah, that sounds like an exhausting coworker to deal with, and just, that is a lot. The only one I could even come close to agreeing with is the perfume one, because allergies exist, and an obnoxious perfume can be hell to be near. But the one that really got under my skin was the headphones one. That just sucks. She just wanted to be as controlling as possible in the office environment and made literally the entire company's life hell, because she wanted things to be done a certain way. My biggest takeaway of this is if you're starting a new job or you're a new hire or something along those lines, just take some solace knowing you could be so much worse. And on the vice versa, if you have a new hire who kind of sometimes gets under your skin, just breathe easy, knowing that they could be so many times worse than they currently are. There's also this gem in the comments section that just feels way too accurate, and it's a fun note to end on. User MOLPT comments, she had glowing reviews from her references. I bet they went something like this: waste no time in hiring her. We all talk about the quality of her work. She's always looking to improve things. Everyone talks about the examples she sets. It reminds me of obituaries written for people who just were absolutely awful, but they have to keep it as polite as they possibly can. Things like, in eternity, they will receive at last what they deserve. Fun little things like that. That's what this is. Don't forget, this is brought to you by GamerSupps. Use code ODDS at checkout. It's basically a caffeine powder that you put in your water, and I actually really like it. I use this on a daily basis. Don't forget that every purchase you make using code ODDS directly supports the channel. And if you want a personal recommendation from me, I would either recommend the Soda Pressing Pear or Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are currently my favorite flavors. And as a note, once we sell a certain amount of stuff, I get my own flavor and my own cup, and you all know I'm gonna choose some degenerate shit that's gonna make their PR team squirm. My goal is to make them regret partnering with me. So please, use code ODDS at checkout to make my dream come true of making a PR team squirm.